Hey there, kiddos. This is Miss Musgrove. We're going to do Chapter 2, Lesson 2 today. We're going to turn percents into fractions, and then fractions back into percents. So when we talk about percents, we're talking about numbers that are out of 100. And you're very familiar with percents. You get grades on your tests that are in percent form. You can make a 92% on a test. You can make 75% on a test. Or you've probably even heard the expression, she gave it 110%. Okay, you can actually have percents greater than 100, but still, all in all, even if they're more than 100 or even less than 1, a percent is always out of 100 total. With that being said, when we want to turn a percent into a fraction, it's pretty easy. Percents are always out of 100, so that means that their denominator is going to start out as 100, and then you just need to simplify. So 36% is going to equal 36 out of 100, and then I can never leave a fraction unsimplified. In this case, the greatest common factor of 36 and 100 is going to be 4. So 36 divided by 4 leaves me 9. 100 divided by 4 leaves me 25. And there we go. 36% equals 36 over 100. Or simplified, that would be 9/25. There you go. When you want to go from a fraction to a percent, it's pretty similar when we were turning fractions into decimals. We were looking for a place value number like 10, 100, or 1,000. Well, if percents are out of 100, you're looking for that 100 denominator. And sometimes it's going to be easy, like this example. I can very easily convert 3/20 to have a denominator of 100 by multiplying 20 times 5. That gives me 100. So when we're dealing with equivalent fractions, whatever we do to the denominator, we must do to the numerator. So 3 times 5 would be 15. And when I have it over 100, I know that that is the same thing as 15%. So when you're writing that percent, you actually have to write the number with the percent sign. Now sometimes we may face a tricky situation where we are looking at a fraction with a denominator that does not easily go up to 100. I cannot multiply 8 times a number to give me 100. But what I can do, okay, is scale back and then scale forward to get 100. And when we scale back, essentially we're simplifying to a number that will go up to 100. So if I simplify this fraction 6/8, I would divide by 2, and I end up with 3/4. When I'm looking at 3/4, I do have a number that can multiply by 4 to give me 100, and that number is 25. So if I multiply 3 times 25, I get my 75 here. Now I have a number over 100, which I know can be written as that numerator number with the percent sign. So sometimes you just have to scale it back by simplifying, so you can scale it forward to get 100 as your denominator. Sometimes we can see a percent that is greater than 100%. And if I want to turn it into a fraction, it's actually going to be a mixed number, because every full set of 100% is like having a whole number. So if I broke 450% up here, that's really like saying 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 50%. So every single full 100 counts as a whole number. So in my mixed number, I would have 4 wholes, and then I'm going to have 50 out of 100 left over. So it's not quite simplified yet. I know that 50 is half of 100. So this would ultimately simplify down to 4.5. So if you have a percent that is greater than 100, every full 100% that you can get out of it is going to count as one whole number in your mixed number. And then whatever's left over is the fraction portion. So when we start out with a mixed number, the same is going to apply when we want to turn it back into a percent. Any whole number component of our mixed number is going to end up being a full 100%. So if I have 2 wholes in this mixed number, my final percent is going to be 200 and whatever 7/25 is as its percent. Because each whole is a whole 100%. So if I have two wholes, it's going to be 200 and something. So what I really need to worry about, though, is the smaller part. I've got to figure out what that is as a percent. So if I set it up, I want to get that denominator of 100, and I know 25 times 4 gives me 100. So 7 times 4 up top gives me 28, which equals 28%. Once I have it over 100, that's my percent. So 2 and 7/25 is going to be 228%. So I hope this video helps. You guys are doing a great job. You've got this. Watch it as many times as you need. Keep practicing those problems, and I promise you're going to get better. Y'all have a great day.